So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning, like Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them.
The WNBA just dropped a shocking statement, and it confirms what we've been screaming for weeks. Caitlin Clark was robbed. In the wake of that explosive showdown between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun, where Clark got poked in the eye, shoved to the floor, and left completely unprotected, the league finally came clean. They admitted the officials messed up, but here's the problem. The damage is already done. The apology? Too late. The foul? Uncalled. And the backlash? Just getting started. Let's break down 5 blistering points on how Caitlin Clark got robbed, and why this scandal could blow up the league if they don't fix it fast.
Stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers. Those are the people calling all the shots. Many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem, and they are demanding answers and they are demanding changes. It seems like a lot of them are kind of being told what to do. There are other people pulling the strings above them. What actually happens is that we have a competition committee for stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers, and that competition committee is the committee that dictates the state of the game.
The league finally did what it should have done in the moment. They admitted the referees lost control. But here's the kicker. This statement came after Clark got tossed around like a rag doll, after JC Sheldon poked her in the eye, after Marina Mabrey shoved her to the floor, after the game devolved into a brawl. So what does the WNBA do? They release a "we'll review the situation" type of statement and think that'll calm everyone down. Sorry, not this time. Fans saw what happened. Players felt what happened. The tape doesn't lie. And this kind of passive apology doesn't fix the real issue. Caitlin Clark, the most watched, most marketed player in the league, was treated like she didn't matter. And the league let it happen in real time. This statement wasn't about accountability. It was about damage control. And fans see right through it. This wasn't one missed foul. This was a series of lazy, blind, and dangerous no-calls that almost blew up the entire Commissioner's Cup semifinal. In the third quarter, Clark takes a shot to the face. Clear contact, no basketball, and the refs don't even blink. She responds with a simple shove, trying to create space, and boom, she gets hit harder. Marina Mabrey comes flying in like a linebacker, throws Clark to the floor, and the refs, standing there like it's a high school scrimmage. What happened next was inevitable. More pushing, more fouls, more chaos, until eventually multiple players got ejected, including Sophie Cunningham, who clearly had enough and took justice into her own hands. And that's the point. When the refs don't control the game, players will. And that's when it gets ugly.
Specifically, detail what you mean by get control of the game, just to be in your words.
Get control of the game is call the fouls that are actually happening on the floor. Right, and consistently call the fouls that are actually happening on the floor. Okay, not just if somebody swings and misses, right? Consistently call the fouls.
The WNBA's statement doesn't address how the refs let it get this bad. They didn't just miss a whistle. They let an entire narrative explode and turn into a controversy that's now bigger than the game itself. Let's talk about what was really stolen from Caitlin Clark that night. And it wasn't just a few free throws. It was her entire ability to control the game on her terms. When you're getting poked in the eye, shoved to the floor, and baited into emotional traps by opposing players, and the refs are doing nothing, you're no longer playing basketball, you're surviving chaos.
Greening action down low. Clark has to get open. 1 second left. Clark doesn't get the shot off. Cloud locks her up, and New York comes into Indianapolis and takes the checkered flag.
This is a player who thrives in rhythm, who runs the court like a quarterback. But the refs didn't just miss a call, they destroyed the flow of her game. Every time she drove, she had to brace for a hit. Every time she shot, she risked an elbow. And every time she opened her mouth to say, "Are you serious?" they slapped her with a tech. You call that officiating? That's not just robbery of points, and that's robbery of presence, poise, and potential. You're muting the league's most dynamic star because You're either too scared to blow the whistle or too biased to treat her like anyone else. This was a Commissioner's Cup semifinal. This was a nationally televised, high-stakes showcase. Clark was supposed to take over it, and she was ready. But the moment was yanked away by officials who froze when it mattered most. Her energy got redirected into defending herself instead of elevating her team. And that's not just bad officiating, it's a crime against competition. Fans aren't dumb. They saw what happened. And the league's weak statement, might filled with vague phrases and "will review" promises, didn't put out the fire. It poured gasoline on it. This wasn't some fringe situation. This was Clark Nation front row center stage. Millions tuned in. And what they saw was their favorite player getting bodied with zero backup from the people in stripes. Let's be honest, fans didn't just come to the WNBA because of Clark's scoring. They came because she represents something bigger. Excellence, grit, charisma, fight. She brought a whole new generation with her. But now those same people are watching her get punished for being passionate while the instigators walk free. You think they'll stick around? You think parents want their daughters idolizing a league that lets its best player get bullied without recourse? Because that's the message being sent loud and clear. If you're too good, too loud, too visible, we're going to make you pay for it.
So lads, today the referees gave the report on the situation, and it's even worse. It's even worse than I imagined, and it was pretty.
The crowd's not just mad, they're organizing. Social media is turning into a courtroom, and every angle, replay, and reaction is evidence.
Why was JC Sheldon's foul upgrade to flagrant one? In the judgment of the officials, the foul by Sheldon was unnecessary. The contact to Clark's face. Furthermore, there was a wind-up and impact, and the contact to face carries potential for injury. How did you come to the conclusion that that is a flagrant one? How did you come up to the conclusion that it was unnecessary, there was a wind-up, and it was to the face? The three of them that is a flagrant 2. By definition, you have described a flagrant 2.
People are calling out names, making compilations. They're demanding suspensions. The fan base is becoming an army. And they're not settling for a copy-paste apology. The WNBA thought it could ride this storm out. But this isn't a storm, this is a reckoning. Let's stop tiptoeing around the truth. This isn't just a bad call, this isn't just another missed whistle. This is a line in the sand moment for the entire WNBA. Because if the league doesn't step up right now and take real visible action, it's going to lose more than just one superstar. It's going to lose everything Caitlin Clark helped build.
To me, challenges cannot take that long. It ruins the flow of the game. I get it, it's early in the year, the refs want to make the right call. We can't sit there for 2.5, 3 minutes and on an obvious hit out of bounds off of them and still not know the call. I get it.
We're talking about a league that's been fighting for relevance, for recognition, for years. Then came Caitlin Clark. She didn't just bring attention, she flipped the script. Overnight, she turned the WNBA from a niche product into must-see TV. Ratings spiked, arenas sold out, people who'd never watched a women's basketball game in their lives were suddenly glued to the screen. Clark was the spark, the once-in-a-generation talent the league desperately needed. And how did they reward her? By letting her get absolutely hammered in a nationally televised Commissioner's Cup semifinal. No protection, no whistle. And now, a week late, our bad statement that does nothing to prevent it from happening again? You think that's going to cut it? Because here's the reality, fans aren't stupid. They see what's happening. The refs are human. Excuse doesn't work anymore. Not when the league's biggest draw gets poked in the eye, shoved to the floor, baited into text, and then gets punished harder than the people who started the fight. Not when we see a pattern, game after game, where Clark gets targeted, and the officials seem more interested in silencing her reaction than stopping the abuse. This isn't just about Caitlin being tough enough to take it. She's proven that already. This is about whether the league respects her enough to protect her. Because if they don't, she might not say it publicly, but the damage will be done. Behind closed doors, she'll be asking, why am I putting my body on the line for a league that won't even blow a whistle when I get punched in the face? And guess what? If she walks, fans will follow, sponsors will follow, media interest will dry up overnight. The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark more than she needs them. That's the cold truth. And if they continue to treat her like just another rookie, they'll wake up one day with empty seats, empty headlines, and nothing but regret. So here's the ultimatum, and yeah, it's that serious. Protect your star or lose your future. The choice is that simple. The clock is ticking. The league's integrity, its reputation, and its survival are all on the line. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just get fouled, she got failed. And the world is watching to see if the WNBA can even recognize what it's throwing away.
It's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. We don't have to make the play that stops the run or the play that turns the tide.
4 quarters of really good basketball, and I think it's going to be a learning curve. But that's what's going to have to happen if we want to beat the really good teams in this league.